I'm witnessing right now with the Somalians out there in Minnesota and all the issues that they're dealing with Trump and deportation is a prime example. Their response to it is a prime example of why FBAs call Black immigrants tethers. I'm sorry, I'm not one to use that word, but I can see what they mean, because the tether means to attach yourself to something. And right now I see a lot of Somalians who have never considered themselves Black attaching themselves to Black Americans as a way of deflecting what's happening to them and saying like, oh, we're all Black and he's doing the same thing to us because we're Black, just like Black Americans. Listen to this.
President Trump and the base that is attacking our community. We understand that you are here to divide us, to create fear amongst us, and to selectively target the Blackest immigrant and Muslim community in this great state. President Trump has had a history of targeting Black people long before he ever ran for any office.
Yeah, Trump targeted Black people. We all know that. But when y'all came here to this country, Black people was like, oh, good, with more Black people, you know, come with us. And we tried to show you what it was like here. We tried to explain to you what was going on, and we were rejected. Like, let's not rewrite history. I know what happened. Y'all made your own communities. Y'all said you had your own culture, separate from us. So now that you're in trouble, you want to claim Blackness? You want to say that Trump already was targeting Black people? Us? He wasn't targeting you then. You're not Black, right? Like, it's a tether. That's a tether. That right there. If you ever wondered what a tether was, that.
When the Arab communities need help, Somalis show up immediately in the name of religion, unity, and the Ummah. Somalis are currently facing political attack, and they're asking, where is the Ummah? Yes, the Somali community are having this conversation, and they're quickly realizing Arabs support Arabs, South Asians support South Asians, Turks support Turks. Every culture protects its own first. Yes, Somali community are now asking the hard question. Why, when Somalis are being attacked or Somalis suffering, not treated as religious emergency, while Somali support for others is always demanded under the banner of faith first? What? The truth is this: the Ummah exists spiritually, not politically, not economically, not in action. Yeah. So to the Somalis who say Muslim first, Somali second, what's your thought in this?
We are here for you. We are absolutely here. We're at your back. We are at your side.
oo fariimahan dadka watay aad iyo aad u mahadsan yihiin. How are you doing? Welcome, madam.
Somali people, come to the front of the classroom, because I need to see. Are y'all okay? We need to check on y'all. Okay, because, you know, I just saw a video on the news about a Somali guy who was quite particularly upset about some of the things that the current president said about the Somali people, because, you know, he just didn't understand because he voted for him. Ooh. Then I also just saw a video with a whole bunch of Somali community.
Do you remember when Somalis, they were denying in the broad daylight, like they're not Black people and they have no ties with Black people. They have nothing to do with Black people. And some even went ahead and claimed their, you know, their lineage as Arab. Definitely, we understand this, because when you walk down on the street, what people see is Black. People don't see you like you are Somali. People see you as Black. But it is unfortunate that you don't feel the same. And Black people are not trying to force you to be Black. But the only problem is when you have a problem, or when you are going through something, that's when you recognize that you are a Black person, and you go ahead and mention the shared struggles that you have with Black people. But hey, there's a big problem, because you also form part of that problem. You also form part of that pace of people that only think Black people are important only when they need them, while not when they don't need them. So at the center of this issue, there is a real contradiction, because some Somalis voice invoke Black solidarity when discussing oppression, especially police violence, immigration, discrimination, or global anti-Black racism. Yet at other times, they reject Black identity by emphasizing their Arab ancestry. So Cushitic uniqueness or religious distinct. This creates confusion and resentment, particularly among Black Americans whose identity has been historically imposed through enslavement, through segregation, and systemic exclusion. So, when solidarity appears in moments of need, it begins to look less like unity and more like strategic alignment, because that's what the Somalis are doing. What they are doing is called strategic alignment. It is not like unity. It's not. Brothers and sisters, I'm gonna let you watch the video, and then I'll be back. I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. So if you're watching it for the first time, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get some kind of fee. But until then, let's watch the video.
Leaders urging people to vote for that same president, prior to him getting into office. So apparently there's a large group of Somali people who are on that side of the coin and who helped get that side of the coin in office. But now those same people are crying and looking to others all sad and defeated because that same administration don't want to fool with them. Now, this is quite perturbing and quite confusing because, these are some people of a certain hue who sit up and have called people of this same hue that are, African American, the N-word with the hard ER. They tried to separate themselves and say that they are not Black. They are from the Horn of Africa. They're not African. They're a whole nother race and stuff. So basically they separated themselves from African American people, say that they are not African, and they've cut ties with the community and felt like they were part of the other side and voted against their own self-interest, and now they are upset and they're crying and they don't understand and they're looking for sympathy. But I only have one word: FAFO. Or is that a word or acronym? One acronym: FAFO. Cry me a river. Because at the end of the day, like you and other brown communities who feel like they are not Black, don't want to be associated with anything Black, but they are seen Black or other by the majority. And when they are seen like that, then they want sympathy. Who do you want sympathy from? I'm just wondering, are you asking for sympathy from us, or are you asking sympathy from the majority? Because at the end of the day, the majority is laughing at you because they used you, because they understand that you don't want to be associated with anything with Blackness when that's all you are and that's all that they see. So I'm sorry, who's supposed to feel sorry for you?
Across Somali diaspora communities, particularly in the United States of America, there has been a striking and perplexing trend. A growing number of Somali immigrants and their descendants embrace a narrative that distance themselves from Africa. In online spaces, in community forums, and sometimes even in political mobilization, one increasingly hears the assertion, "We are Somali, not African." This identity paradox, rooted in cultural pride, clan consciousness, and the desire to differentiate, has carried the community into political choices that have now recoiled back on them. The endorsement of Donald Trump by segments of the Somali American community is one of the clearest expression of the phenomenon. Many saw Trump not through the lens of black immigration vulnerability, but through a framework shaped by anti-Blackness, aspiration for proximity to whiteness, and a belief that aligning with a strongman figure would elevate them above other African or minority groups. In some Somali online circles, Trump was praised as a protector of traditional values, a champion of conservative Islam-friendly stances, or simply as a leader who would keep others in check. Yet, this attempt to separate from Africa politically, socially, and psychologically has boomeranged in the harshest way possible. Recently, Trump publicly described Somalis as garbage, called their homeland a dirty place, not even worthy of being called a country, and vowed to intensify deportation efforts specifically targeting Somali communities in the United States. The very candidate some supported is now positioning them among the population he once removed. This is not merely political irony, it is a psychological tragedy, because beneath Trump's rhetoric lies a hard truth. The American gaze does not distinguish between a Somali and an African, nor between a Muslim immigrant and a black immigrant. The distinction some Somali try to carve out for themselves does not exist outside their own cultural boundaries. In the broader racial hierarchy of the West, they are read as African, black, foreign, and Muslim. All this identity Trump's political project is hostile to. The Somali diaspora's attempt to rise above the black immigrant identity has therefore placed them in a greater danger. Instead of solidarity with other Africans and other black community solidarity that could have offered political protection, they isolated themselves. The desire to not be seen as African meant embracing narratives that reinforces anti-Blackness, and in many cases internalizing colonial hierarchies inherited from the Horn of Africa. But in the West, these hierarchies hold no power. The American racial imagination flattens everything, from Senegal to Sudan, from Cape to Cairo, from Ethiopia to Somali, all become one category. And so, the Somali attempt to escape Africanness became the very route through which they walk into vulnerability. Politically, this has consequences. By supporting a politician whose ideology inherently targets immigrants, Muslims, and black people, parts of the Somali community helped empower a force that is now turning against them. By rejecting the broader African identity, they cut themselves off from potential alliances and collective bargaining. And by believing that cultural uniqueness could save them from American racism, they walk directly into the line of fire. There is an old African proverb that says, the child who denies his family will be the first to be exposed to danger. The Somali diaspora is experiencing a modern political version of that warning. Identity cannot be negotiated with the oppressor. Only solidarity offers safety. The phenomenon reflects a deeper issue. How colonial legacies still shape self-perception, how trauma shapes diaspora identity, and how communities unfamiliar with American racial politics can underestimate the intensity of anti-Blackness in the West. But it also offers a lesson for the future. No African gains anything by trying to outrun their Africanness. The world sees what it sees. An identity comes not from denial but from unity. The Somali experience in the United States is becoming a case study in what happens when a community tries to distance itself from its own continental identity in hopes of securing social elevation. Instead, they have found themselves more exposed, more targeted, and more alone than before, caught in a storm of their own making. Wisdom is profitable to direct.
When President Donald Trump called Tim Walz the R word, he was 100% correct. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you. Apparently, according to the internet, the national average IQ of people from Somalia is 68. 68. 68 is the national average IQ over there. And here in America, anything under 100 means you're not working with a full box of crayons, okay? Yet somehow, some way, Tim Walz was able to be hoodwinked out of about $8 billion from people whose national IQ average is 68. So yeah, I fully support y'all driving by his house screaming the R word at him, because how do you get hoodwinked out of $8 billion with the Medicaid, Medicare fraud, with the Feeding the Future scam, with the autism scam, with the Small Business Administration scam, with the housing scam? These people fooled Tim Walz so badly that they have cost the state of Minnesota $8 billion, despite the fact that their national IQ average is that of a potato.
What would you say to the president if he were standing here right now?
Mr. President, we campaign for you. We have hope in you. We see hope in you. Please differentiate between good, bad, and evil.
That's a Somali immigrant who voted for President Trump in 2024, but now Trump is demonizing Somalis in America, specifically here in Minnesota.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
I got 5 children. My children are no garbage. I campaigned for the president in 2024. I actually went out and we reached 50 million people endorsing Trump 7 days before the election.
What drew you to the president?
Because we believed he was an agent of chaos. We couldn't afford anything back then. There was a fentanyl crisis. There was an issue of affordability. The living standards went down. Crime issues. These are 5 very important things to us. And we believe that Trump would be the solution to it. I've been a Republican for over 25 years. I'm not going to stop being a Republican. But what I do know is for a fact is we're getting killed out here because people are saying, we told you so.
I know. I wanted to answer you in a video because I've seen a lot of people saying these things. Okay, so Somali Americans are now saying how they went out and protested with Black Lives Matter and when George Floyd happened. And they're comparing the fraud scheme to George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. Okay. Those two are completely different. First of all, no one unalived any Somali in this fraud scheme. Okay? Not one. Okay? The Somali people and the white lady who did this are not victims of a crime. They committed the crime. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? Okay. So George Floyd was a victim of a crime. And we all know what that crime was. I'm not going to say it because we're on TikTok. Okay. We all know what that crime was. Okay. It was horrendous. You can't get, and look, Diddy is a Black American, okay? I mean, his whole face and a whole documentary is all on Netflix right now. If he did the crime, which he did the crime, not if, he did it, okay? So guess what? He's going to prison and there's a documentary out on him and all this other stuff, right? He's in prison. Excuse me. So the thing about it is, do you see how easily that came out of my mouth? I'm not trying to defend him, and I'm not saying that he is a victim. Okay? That's the difference between me and you. See? You want me to defend someone who defrauded the public. Okay? The public is the victim in this case because they were robbing the state of Minnesota. So about $1 billion. Okay, taxpayers are the victim, not the criminals who did it. Okay, so stop. This is not hatred. This is facts. So if Somali Americans and a white woman, okay, did what they did, they are not the victims. You are trying to twist this as if they are the victims. They are not the victims. They did it. That's why they are found guilty. Okay? So you can't compare this to George Floyd. Okay? Surprise, because he was unalived. And that's why people protested. Okay? You want us to go protest and stand behind criminals. What?
So I saw this guy like talking about how he thinks that Arabs think that Somali's native language is Arabic. And I'll tag him and everything. I don't want to go over too much of his videos, but I kind of wanted to talk about this too because I've had the same interactions. Obviously, I've never been to an Arab country, but I don't think you as a Somali have to like have gone to an Arab country to like have experienced this. I know a lot of Somalis do, but yeah, I've literally had the same interactions where like I'll meet somebody and they're Arab and it goes like this and they're like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Somali, my parents are Somali. And they're like, oh, cool, so you speak Arabic? I'm like, no. Or they start speaking to me in Arabic and I'm like, I'm confused, like I don't. And they're like, oh, so what do you speak? I'm like, Somali, that's my native language. And they're like, oh, like they're just so and I think like in this case when these interactions happen, there's like two types of Arabs. There's like the Arabs who assume that you speak Arabic because a lot of Somalis do speak Arabic, but they're like, oh, it's probably like a second language, but they know that your native language is Somali, so they're not just assuming that it's in your native language. And then there's the other ones who literally assume that it's your native language, or who are like, why don't you speak Arabic, or they're so surprised. And I'm like, there are a lot of Somalis who don't speak Arabic, and the Somalis who do, like, they learn it for Islamic reasons, they learn it for travel reasons, you know, because obviously Somalia is a Muslim country. But at the end of the day, we do have our own culture and our own language and so on, you know. And I feel like this kind of also goes back to some people assuming that like every country who's in the Arab League speaks Arabic, or the Arabization of Somali culture. And it's a real thing. I know some people don't like to talk about it, or think that whenever I do talk about this stuff, I hate Arab people, all that. Like, no, like that's not what this is about. It's just the whole debate that started of are Somalis are Arab will always confuse me till this day, because it shouldn't be a debate. That should have never started. Because isn't there a lot of other countries who are with the Arab League? Does that mean they're Arab too? Like, I'm so confused. Like, why was this ever a debate? Because geography says otherwise, history says otherwise. And to all the Somalis that were claiming Arabs that are full Somali, like, if you have Arab genes, you have Arab, like, that's understandable. Like, obviously that makes sense. But to all the Somalis who were literally claiming Arab, who are full Somali, I'm like, you are literally confusing everybody. Like, stop making unnecessary confusions, because why would you do that? But yeah, overall, I do think it is a weird concept having to explain, and I've had to do that, like, because they're so surprised, like, when I tell them I don't speak Arabic and that I speak Somali because it's my native language, and they're like, oh, like, I thought all Somalis speak Arabic. I'm like, no, not all. Yeah.
The Somali community, we need, come closer, we need to talk. You guys haven't learned anything from what has been happening for the last 11 months? This is the time for you guys to get united. It doesn't matter if your name is Abdul Karim or Abdullah. When those eyes came, they didn't know the difference. You are not going to say I voted for Donald Trump. These guys don't know if your name is Abdul Karim or your name is Abdullah. To them, you're a Somali. Why are you guys fighting each other? Oh, I support what Donald Trump is saying. Oh, I don't support what Donald Trump is saying. Have you guys not heard of I will vote for Donald Trump? I will vote for Donald Trump. Where are they now? And you guys haven't learned anything. Have you heard that they're going to revoke the refugee status for Somalian? That's not good. So if you come to US as a refugee, as a Somali, they revoked your refugee status. Even if your kids was born in US, as you guys know that the Supreme Court now talking about the birthright. It's debatable. It's something they want to say. If you are not American citizen and you give a birth to a child in US, that child is not a US citizen. It's at Supreme Court right now. If the Supreme Court agree with the Trump administration, so that means if your father got or your mother her refugee status is revoked and you were born in US, you are not citizen. You're gonna go back to a country you haven't been in for the last 18 to 20, 25 years. You guys need to unite. Stop this foolishness. I know you guys did not vote for the other guy that because he's for a small clan and you guys did not support him and you voted for the white guy. Somali, wake up. How many times this example have to happen? Like, just, oh, I can, yeah. You people are crazy. Oh, Trump is doing good. Yeah, Trump is doing good. Yeah. He's gonna send your ass back to Africa. Stop. You guys have to be united. Stop this little foolishness you guys doing. Oh, this is clan, this clan. I'm a Muslim, I'm that. Oh. Abdul Karim Abdullah sound the same to ICE. It doesn't matter. Even if you voted for Donald Trump, you the one voted is the one they need you actually. You're the one they want to put you past in the detention center. When you go to the detention center, you will wake up from there. Stop this foolishness. You guys have to be united. Trump is a transactional person. But the people who work under him, people like Miller, this is the worst people. And this is the people that feeding him with all of this nonsense. And you guys are feeding into that. You need to be united, Somali. Stop this foolishness you guys do. 2 weeks ago, US was bombing Somalia, the same country they want to send you back to. They're bombing it. And you're here dancing, oh, Trump is doing good. You guys haven't learned anything. Oh, these African people.
The border security at Queen Ali Airport in Amman, they're so funny. They're like, "Inti min وين?" I'm like, "أنا من بريطانيا." And they're like, "عندك جواز سفر تاني?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "عندك إقامة?" And I'm like, "No." أنا مش عربية. They're like, "إنتي مش عربية?" "إنتي من وين?" I'm like, "أصلي من Somalia." And then the border security officer proceeds to go on Google to check if Somalia is part of the Arab world. And he's like, "Yeah, it is. It's one of the 22 nations." So he's like, "Naam, inti Arabiya." I don't know how my fellow Somalis would feel about that.
Alright. Saudi people gotta be the most racist people in the world. Like, everyone has told me how racist they are down here. Never seen it until today. So basically, we went to Masjid al-Nabawi and we got stopped and they didn't let us enter the masjid. Just explain everything basically.
Yeah, so pretty much what had happened was we were going into gate 333 to be exact. And so as soon as we got there, we noticed that the gate was kind of closed. But for some reason, there's few people that were going in. Now, I do understand when it comes to different opinions, you guys could obviously think different. However, from what my point of view was, that the security or the police, whoever he was only letting in Saudi people. Now, I get it. they could have been inside, and they left to make wudu or whatever it was. But I've noticed one thing: Somalis, Pakistanis, and a couple of Nigerians were there, not to mention their race. However, those people were not let in, except the Saudi people, anyone with imama and all those extra stuff that they wear. Okay, there's one guy that I had, the pleasure of speaking to, and he worked there. He had a badge. I told him this had happened to us, and he said, "Don't say this, wallahi. This is Saudi, the most safe place, blah blah." I told him, "I'll pay you money if this guy does not let you go in." And uqsum billah, he let him in. I told him, take the badge out, put it in your pocket. If you don't go in, I'll pay you money. He said, "Don't say wallahi, don't say money." I said, "All right, bet."
Mind you, we were there for 10 minutes, standing 10 minutes trying to get inside the masjid.
100%.
And then he let all the Saudis in, everybody with the imama, or that looks just like light in Saudi. All the Pakistanis got denied, the Nigerians got denied. And we walked away from the situation, and then we told somebody else to come and try it, a Saudi person. He went in, and then finally he had to talk to him and tell him that we're good to go, and then that's how we got in. But end of the story, we have a recording. So we try to report the incident to somebody else, and then right after we reported it to him, he was trying to defend the other guy, saying, "Oh, they're not racist. Somalis are usually the loudest people, the most rude people." Basically, we have the whole audio. We recorded it
we
privately, and we're gonna show you guys the rest.
Is Somalia an Arab country? Let's find out by actually asking real Somalis in real life. I think there's one over there. Excuse me, mate. You an Arab? Is Somalia an Arab country?
Yes, it's an Arab country.
It is an Arab country.
Yes, it's a Somalis Arab country.
Is Somalia an Arab country?
No, it's African.
It's African country.
Yeah. You're just black.
You're just black.
Yeah.
I mean, so if I called you an Arab, would you be offended?
No.
No, you're not going to get upset.
Yeah.
Is Somalia an Arab country?
Somalia is not an Arab country. It's African. It's African people, but it's Arab country.
So you just said it's not Arab country, but it is an Arab country.
It's Arab country, but it's not. The people is African. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Okay.
Yes, it is.
It is an Arab country.
Arab country.
What makes it an Arab country?
We're in the Arab League. We have Arabic food. Language is derived from many Arabic words.
Is Somalia an Arab country?
Somalia is the Muslim.
Is Muslim. Is Somalia an Arab country?
نعم عايزة أرد في العربي.
اوكي.
عربي.
عربي؟ طب في صوماليين بيقولوا الصومال مش بلد عربية.
لا عربي. بيتكلموا لغة تانية لكن بلد عربي.
And yeah, man.
But a lot of Somalis will argue that Somalia isn't an Arab country, that they're African.
They're confused. They don't know what I'm talking about.
They're confused.
Yeah, confused.
A lot of Somalis think this. Why do they think this way?
I don't know. Arab hate.
This is not a Somali kid. It's an Egyptian kid. But
hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from whatever you're watching me from. Somalis. Even though you betray us, I'd still call you a brother, because at the end of the day, we are bros. But let's talk about things that are important. And I think it's time somebody called out the Somali community. For the past 5 months, they've been having a problem since the Somali crackdown. And, all these problems that were happening and the fraudulent nature of some of them and what they were doing really made it hard for them to be contained in the United States, specifically Minnesota, right? So part of the confusion comes from framework of identity. Many Somalis primarily understands themselves through ethnicity, that's Somali, or religion, which is Islam, and clan, which is not a race. So in contrast, Black Americans were racialized through slavery and law, making Black a political and a social identity tied to survival and resistance. So when Somalis enter the United States, they suddenly categorize as Black, regardless of their own self-definition. So this mismatch creates a friction because Blackness becomes something to accept when it offers protection or advocacy, and something to reject when it carries stigma. So this is how the Somalis rolled with Black people. This is how they used to live with Black people. So there is also an uncomfortable truth about proximity to whiteness and non-Black status. So in many societies, especially in the US, and global anti-Blackness is the lowest rung of racial hierarchy. Some immigrant groups, including Africans and Afro-Asians, learn quickly that distancing themselves from Black Americans can offer social or economic advantages. Claiming Arabic ancestry or non-Black identity can function as a shield against the worst forms of racism, even while benefiting from Black-led civil rights gains when convenient, right? So the question is Black unity a resource or is it a commitment? So this is where the feeling of being played often comes from. Black unity Black people have a feeling that they are getting played. Black unity, especially in the US, has historically been a collective resource built through blood, through sacrifice, through organizing and resistance. So when groups tap into that resource only during moments of crisis without consistently standing against anti-Blackness or supporting Black causes, it feels extractive. Solidarity becomes transactional rather than principled. And that erodes trust very, very fast. And I think this is a perfect case scenario to what's happening to, the Somalis and Black Americans. Many immigrant communities, including Somalis, arrive without full understanding of Black American history. That's something also we need to talk about. So they may seek Black Americans only through stereotypes shaped by the global media, while overlooking the realities that Black Americans built the very legal and social protection immigrants now rely on. So this lack of historical grounding allows people to claim equivalence of struggle without acknowledging differences in origin, duration, and systemic target, especially the unique legacy of chattel slavery. So selective Blackness and anti-Black socialization is also another thing that I want to talk about. So another layer is internalized global anti-Blackness, because across the world, including parts of Africa and Middle East, Blackness has been stigmatized through colonialism, colorism, and religious misinterpretations. This means some individuals may sincerely believe they are not Black, even while being treated as Black by Western systems. So the result is selective Blackness, rejecting Black identity socially, but invoking it politically when harm occurs. So the question is, what does really genuine solidarity requires? So true Black solidarity is not about borrowing identity during hardship. It requires consistency, it requires accountability, and shared risk. That means standing against anti-Black racism even when it does not personally benefit you, acknowledging Black American leadership without erasing it, and rejecting narratives that demean Black people when it's socially convenient. Solidarity is not a slogan. It is a long-term commitment. When that commitment is absent, people notice and trust breaks down. So brothers and sisters, please let me know what you think and feel about this video. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Ejidok Stories. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.